Hi, I'm Chris Morris with Opening Spaces. Today on this video, I'm going to talk to you about healing, growth, and wholeness, or healing, growth, and awakening, and how they're all linked together. So when we're working with healing, we're working with the physical, maybe the mental, emotional, maybe the energetics or some subtle energy, or that can actually lead right into our spirit or our soul journey healing. And as we do that, as we find healing, which is often with another human being, healing often requires another human being just to help hold that space and that energy. We're not designed to do everything by ourselves. But as we find our healing points, and healing can just mean bringing back together this separation, this misperception, this scar tissue that's keeping the flow and the information on one side from getting to the other side, right? But as we find healing and we experience healing, what happens is there's a natural creation, there's a natural manifestation, we could call it, or creation impulse that comes from that. And that leads into our growth. It leads into an expansion, that next level of experiencing more of ourselves. We come into relationship with principles and beliefs and ideas and impulses, these creative impulses that may not have been available to us, or we may not have been able to actualize or bring them through materially into this manifest world until we were able to heal some of these points and allow this energy to work in the way that it was designed to work. Now, each time we have a healing point and an expansion point, we also need an integration. So we need to get all of this learning, energy, information, experiential, sensory information. We need to get it all integrated and working together in a really nice resonance, right? And then we get that grounded into who we are. And what happens is we expand the understanding of who we are from these points of healing. We know more about ourselves. We see ourselves in different light. We experience ourselves with relation to self and relation to others through different lenses. Once we heal these points of separation, we could call it, or stuck energy, which is still separation. And as we move through these growth processes, we come into these points of awakening. So it depends on what we're here to work with this lifetime. But many of us are here to awaken to wider actualization, self-actualization, interaction with the world on different levels, working with subtle energy and our physical energy. So working beyond what we right now know to be the truth in this world. So we're awakening to wider truths. We're experiencing the world in a way that's different than when we were young. It's different than our ancestors, maybe not different than our ancestors are way far back, but we are moving into a phase of collective unity, of cooperation, of integration in ourselves and society. All of that is spurred on by these individual personal healings of our pain points, our wound points. And this could be conditioning from when we were young. This could be some wound points from whatever we experienced when we were young. It could be some beliefs that we adapted from multiple places when we were young, which are untruths. And they get sealed in our bodies. They get sealed in our bodies in rhythms and patterns that we literally have to go in and change and switch the energy. And then it has to go through the emotions, through the sensory body, which is feelings before emotions. So it's like constricted, expansion, hot, cold, and then to our thoughts, our beliefs, right? And then getting into the heart of things. All of this is only possible when we heal these points of separation. Like we are not part of, we don't belong. When we heal something like that, we feel a wider sense of presence, both within us and around us. And it always, I'm going to say always, shifts and changes the relationship we have between us and others. And so it may improve between us and others, or there may be a point that we no longer have a resonance that's close enough, and so it becomes a rub, and then that needs to shift, either needs to fall away, or both energies have to get into a similar resonance so they can be relating. And then the awakening part, awakening is states that become stages. So first it's just kind of an opening of our eyes. We awaken to something new, something wider, a concept that we didn't quite understand before, an truth that we didn't quite know before in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts, right? So first we just kind of open our eyes to these different things that we didn't know, and now we know. They've been revealed to us. And then as we move through the world with these new awarenesses, and as they become truths, then things start to become a stage. So this becomes more of our set point of how we relate to the world. The beautiful thing about awakening is it's not once, it's many, many times. And then at some point we might shift into a more full-on, embodied, enlightened, liberated being. There's not many on the planet. There's a lot of folks that are awakening. Awakening always has an energetic component, and that's hard to navigate sometimes for folks that don't have an awareness or they don't know what's going on. In this day and age, a lot of people are just kind of popping with this awakened energy and not really sure how to work with it, where to go, and it can become disorienting. So even those kind of awakenings, it's not like everything's butterflies and rainbows right away. Things get messy because all of these stuck points and these points that need healing, they just have energy that's not able to flow through our channels of who we are in the design of how we were made. We just get all of these dams and these stuck points and these twisties and all kinds of things. And then there's a point where there's more energy that clears out some of the old blockages, and then we can see more clearly. When that happens, our heart tends to feel more expansive. We tend to feel lighter. We tend to feel more connected, both inside of ourselves and outside of ourselves. And in order for this whole setup, this whole society, this whole planet to have the shift that we are on target to have, individuals need to find these healing points and these awakening points, which go hand in hand, and it's a growth. Every time we heal, we grow into our awakening next iteration of who we are. And we're doing that our entire lives, right? We watch a little one grow from an infant to a toddler to a preschooler, right? We have these different stages. Once we hit the mature ages, and sometimes people are hitting these earlier in their 30s and 40s, but usually it's at the mature age where we can really integrate the tapestry of our lives into these concepts and into these relationships of an awakened life. Healing is the pathway in. It's our journey to our true self, and then we get an expanded vista to kind of view the world from, and then we move through life from that next point, and it just keeps moving, and it's quite beautiful, even though it can be mucky and painful and disorienting, and we can feel disconnected, and we can feel like we don't belong, and we can feel like we're overwhelmed all the time, and those are all parts of being human. And there's ways to heal the physical body, the nervous system, the mental, emotional body, our heart, mind, and then move our energy into a place where it's more clear. So more of our true signature self can be present. So we can actualize, we can bring that to the world and materialize and manifest the world that we see in our mind's eye, we feel in our heart of hearts, and that we've come here to do. So I hope you have a wider understanding of how healing and manifesting and growth and awakening all kind of weave together. And I wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Chris Morris. This is Opening Spaces.